What's going on, everybody? I'm continuing on today with more of my favorite sea run cutthroat flies, and today I'm going to be tying up what's called the sea run bugger. Came across this pattern a couple years ago from a fellow YouTuber. I believe it's Beachmen Fly Tying with Thomas Beachman. He ties for some local fly shops. He seems to be an incredible fly tyer. I've never met him, but I've seen a lot of his flies, and he's very, very skilled. If you get a chance to check out his channel, go buy his flies. They're pretty top notch. Anyway, I was just scrolling through YouTube one night and came across this pattern and really liked the looks of it. On his channel, he called it the Marstrom's Sea Run Bugger, I believe. So I'm guessing that might be in reference to whoever created it, but I'm not 100% sure on the history of it. All I know is that it's a great pattern. It catches fish. It's pretty easy to tie. It kind of strikes all the boxes for what I like in a pattern. It's easy. It's got rubber legs with tons of movement, Marabou with tons of movement. It's got lead eyeballs, so it's got the jigginess. It's just a solid pattern. It's sort of become my go-to when nothing else produces. You know, those days when there's fish around, but they're just not showing any interest in your usual offerings, and you're kind of just going through fly after fly after fly, trying to figure it out. I'll often throw one of these on. I tie them fairly large. I like them to be kind of meaty, and it just surprises me how often they'll produce. So thought I'd tie one up today. This particular one is sort of my favorite kind of color combo. I've experimented with a bunch of different combinations. I have a whole bunch of them tied up here and there. And I just really like this kind of orange and olive. Orange and olive seems to be a great sea run combo anyway. Anyway, to get started, I've got this is a Tiemco 811S size 4 hook. And I've got some Vivus, I believe it's A-dot, orange thread. So I'm just going to lay down a little thread base. Oh boy, my bobbin is all wrapped up, of course. That's just awesome. There we go. Off to a great start with this one. But hey, this is some blue collar fly tying. I'm not. This is not for shows. All right, so lay down a thread base, and I'm going to start by tying in some eyeballs. So I'm going to build a little bit of a bump where I'm going to put those. I've got some. Oh, these are Spirit River Real Eyes. I think they're the small or medium size. I can't remember. I'm terrible about pulling them out of the package. And you could use any eyeball, though. You know, really doesn't matter. I really like these Real Eyes. I use them for tons and tons of flies. But I'm tying it in a little bit closer to the eye than I would a standard clouser. With a standard clouser, I really like to leave a bunch of room back there, but all I'm going to be putting in the front is some Estaz, so I don't need a whole lot of room. And the farther forward that the eyeballs go, it seems to give it a little more jiggy action anyway. So, like all my eyes, I'm going to go overboard and really tie these things down. Making sure to do some helicopter wraps. I gotta tighten my bobbin up here. Using a right bobbin where you can adjust through the thread tension, which I really like. I use these, and I use the Stonfo version. Usually I use the Stonfos for larger saltwater flies, but they're both great, and I really like to be able to adjust the tension on my bobbin. So I'll just get this good and secured. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. Make sure that's nice and lined up straight, just because I'm picky like that. Alright, So for the tail on this particular one, I am going with a, oh boy, I'm making a mess, with a orange, kind of a bright orange Marabou. I'm just going to get a nice kind of fluffy tail. I'm not going to tie this one in as I usually do along the whole shank of the hook, just because this fly, it really doesn't seem to matter as far as having a bulk tie-in point. So I'm just going to tie that tail in. Okay. Next up, I am really unorganized today. I'm going to go with just as kind of a standard, a little UV pearl crystal flash. You know, sometimes I use orange in different colors, but I don't know, I always like this stuff. So I'll tie that in on the near side as I always do. Fold it over. Get the far side. Okay. So next up, I'm good for this particular fly. I'm using a it's kind of a mottled let's see, it's a white and olive barred Marabou. Actually, I really like it. It's sort of a olive and black barred, but I was out of that. So this stuff will work. And for this, I'm going to be tying it in by the tip. And a little tip that actually in the Beachmen video is you just tie it in back a little ways and then pull it forward. And then that way you can not have to worry about trying to trap that tip down. And you don't have to be I don't have to be too crazy about these fibers that are sticking out, because I think it just adds to the. Now before I wrap it, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here just to help kind of keep the Marabou body secured. If you ever used Marabou bodies before, they will easily get kind of chipped up and pulled apart. Well, that was another tip from the Beachmen video that I've implemented. Okay, so I'm just going to wind my body. Right up to the eyeballs. And you can kind of trim the fibers that got a little crazy, but I don't go too nuts just because, I don't know, it just seems to add to the bugginess when there's some stuff kind of sticking out a little bit here and there. And a lot of this is going to get covered up anyway. Now, next step is to add the legs, rubber legs. I'm using some crazy legs. This is medium olive and purple, red, green flake. You can use whatever color you like. I have a ton of different colors. They're really neat. I like adding them to sea-run cutthroat flies. I've been doing it a little bit more and more, and I have more plans to do it. They just look cool, and I think the fish just dig it. I'm going to use just a single leg, and I'm going to cut it in half. And this is about the perfect size for what I need. And I'm going to kind of just measure it out. I like it a little bit shorter than the tail. You can kind of experiment, see what works for you, what you like. I'm going to tie it in right on top. Get a couple wraps on there. And then I'm just going to kind of fold them over to the sides a little bit and get some more wraps just to kind of secure those down. There we go, that looks pretty good. And you don't have to be worried about this part too much because it's about to get covered up here. Next I've got some orangish Estaz. This isn't the brightest orange. I need to find something a little brighter, but I've been using it for a while and it works fine. Tie that in up front of the eyeball. And then I'm going to just, wrap it around. I'm going to cover up the head, the thread wraps over the eyes, the tie-in points for the legs. You don't have to go too crazy making it, big and bulky. The main thing is just get all that covered up and get this nice orange color at the front. As I said, the orange and olive just seems to be a great sea run cutthroat combo. So, trim that off. Throw on a whip finish. And finish it off with some glue. So you can see, real simple pattern, very, very productive. You can tie it in different colors, different sizes, you can kind of go crazy with this one. It's just kind of a fun tie. Fish it intermediate line 90% of the time. Jiggy little strips. Man, when they hit it, they really like to hit this fly. There's something about this one that causes some aggression. So if you haven't, give it a shot. Add some to your box. If it produces for you, leave me a comment, let me know. If there's any other flies that you'd really like to see as I'm going through these, again, just leave me a comment. Love to hear any feedback. So thanks for watching.